Thanks for your company here on Business Now. Well, with flooding from the ex-tropical cyclone Alfred still widespread across southeast Queensland and especially in Ipswich, the Lockyer Valley and in New South Wales towns including Lismore, the clean-up does start, as do questions about insurance. The Prime Minister weighed in on this yesterday.
What I've said is that insurance companies need to do the right thing. They have a social licence and people expect them to make payments in a speedy and effective way when they are due. This is a time where insurance companies can restore some of their reputation with the public by acting speedily, and we expect them to do so.
State premiers have also weighed in here as well, but there's one issue where the government is also involved. It has a body called the Australian Reinsurance Pool Corporation, which was set up to protect communities and insurers when there are cyclones and also terrorist attacks. It's backed by a $10 billion government guarantee. Its CEO is Dr. Christopher Wallace, who declared that Cyclone Alfred began at 8:30 a.m. on the 28th of February and the reinsurance guarantee kicked in from then. Just to explain how this works, let's bring in the CEO of the Australian Reinsurance Pool, Christopher Wallace. Now, Chris, many thanks for your time. Just explain the importance of you declaring that cyclone at that point. What did that trigger?
Great, thank you, and good to be here, Ross. The cyclone is declared initially by the Bureau of Meteorology, and us then making it formal on the 28th of February provided the start of the claims period for the reinsurance pool, which provides financial support to insurers to reimburse them for their claims payments. So the cyclone pool provides cover from that time. So the early stages of the cyclone, which included onshore impacts, wind and rain from that very early part of the cyclone, carried on all the way through to when the cyclone finished and downgraded to a low pressure system, which was on the Saturday morning early. And then we provide a further 2 days of cover after the cyclone ends to provide a cover right through until Monday morning, 6 a.m. Okay. So that's the full period of cover. And in this case, it was almost 10 days of cover provided for that event.
All right. Now, I want to get the sense of this because my thought would be that a lot of the damage is being done now by floodwaters that have come as a consequence of these storms. And of course, the question is, who is responsible for that? Is that covered by your reinsurance pool, or is that outside the time period for which you actually cover these cyclone events?
Great. Look, the cyclone pool was established. The policy intent is to put downward pressure on premiums, and it's really directed at areas of medium to high cyclone risk. However, it does also provide cover for areas of low cyclone risk, including Brisbane. So the purpose of the pool is very much to provide cover for the wind, the storm surge and the rain that's directly related to that cyclone. It's not meant to be a broad-based flood reinsurance pool. That's not the intent. And so by providing cover for the full period of the cyclone, plus an additional 2 days, provides most of the cover that's needed for the cyclone and the immediate flooding around that cyclone. Now, there are impacts beyond that period of claims cover, and that is covered by the insurance sector through their private reinsurance arrangements. So there's actually no impact to consumers at all. Their claims will continue to be paid as required. It's just really a question for the insurer of, do I seek reimbursement from the public reinsurance pool or from their private reinsurance arrangements?
Okay, and is this because many businesses and even households in many cyclone-prone areas cannot either get insurance or get affordable insurance unless there is somebody stepping up into that reinsurance pool?
Yes, and it's particularly a challenge in medium and high risk areas. So if you look at premiums in Cairns or Townsville or Darwin or the Pilbara, the premiums can be 5 times what other people in Australia pay. So the intent of the cyclone pool was to put maximum downward pressure in those very high premium areas to help increase the uptake of insurance and to bring down the cost of insurance. We charge a rate for premiums for the cyclone component of those premiums that's much lower than what the average premium should be, and we subsidise that through collecting premiums for broader low risk areas.
So then I did mention earlier on that you also cover terrorism events. Now, I presume this is because in most insurance policies, terrorism events are excluded from the cover that most businesses and individuals can receive.
Yes, after September 11 terrorism attacks, the global reinsurance industry excluded cover for terrorism risks. And so in 2003, the government then established ARPC, the Australian Reinsurance Pool Corporation, to provide cover for commercial property for terrorism attacks. A lot of the capital cities and regional infrastructure is protected through the terrorism pool, I should say, and we collect premiums for that risk, and we have a pool of net assets. And in the event there was a asset-based attack, the pool is available to support insurers to support their business customers. The pool was then expanded in 2022 to include Cyclone, so it's now the Terrorism and Cyclone Insurance Act, and similarly it provides support to areas that have very high cyclone risk to bring down premiums. But for the terrorism risk, I just wanted to say that it can be quite hard to purchase. There's sort of limited capacity globally for that type of risk.
I'll tell you what, it's really good to have in the program with that explanation today. The Chief Executive of the Australian Reinsurance Pool Corporation, Christopher Wallace, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.